On this episode of Lewis Spotlight, we'll be taking a closer look into the life lessons Brooke has learned on her journey here at Lewis. Brooke grew up in New Lenox, Illinois, where she attended Lincoln Way West High School. While there, she was involved both in and out of the classroom, most notably in Poms and Band. She then joined us here at Lewis to pursue a degree in nursing. When she's not studying, she enjoys running and practicing yoga. Her friends describe her as a loyal, caring friend who is always there for support. In her own words, here is Brooke.
Hi, my name is Brooke, and I'm a junior nursing student here at Lewis, and I'd like to share the life lessons that I've learned through becoming a nurse here at Lewis. So my background, I have two older brothers, and I grew up in New Lenox, so it's a pretty, small town, but enough going on. My brothers were always picking on me, so I was always the younger, little sister, kind of there for a punching bag. But through that, I've developed a strong independent side, and I can take care of myself. I can do my own homework. I'm really responsible with school, so that has driven me to be a really good student as well. So that's where I talk about relying on others, and I've learned through Lewis that it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to rely on other people. So at Lewis, so far, I've learned a life lesson that it's okay to rely on other people because, there's times when you're going to feel stressed and alone, but there's other people going through it with you, other nursing students, and there are professors that have also gone through the same thing. So they know that you're going through a hard time and they're always going to be there to help you. So at Lewis, there are a lot of people that are there to help you and that you can rely on. Well, in my childhood, I had some family members that were sick, and naturally I was given a little nursing kit as a Christmas gift. So I had the stethoscope and I had like a little miniature blood pressure cuff. And my dad was actually sick, I think around 5th or 6th grade, and I naturally was there by his bedside. Can I help you with anything? Can I, get you water? This, washcloth, things like that. So naturally, I was gravitating towards helping, and my grandpa also was sick. So something that helped me decide to go to Lewis is that it was close to home, and both of my mom and my brother went to Lewis as well. So it was kind of like a family thing. When I came here for my first visit, I was like, oh, it reminds me of home, all these trees and, the really nice people. Also, the nursing faculty was really, really responsive to all my questions and everything I wanted to know about the nursing program. Also, the prestigious, appeal that Lewis has with their pass rate and knowing that the nurses are recognized in hospitals and things like that. It helped me really see that, nursing is the way to go and Lewis is the way to do it. So I decided that I wanted to become a nurse when I had appendicitis freshman year of high school. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and there were some complications, and there was a lot of different nursing staff that I had contact with. So throughout that experience and having actually a good experience from a sickness, it helped me see that I want to help people and be in a hospital situation where I can help other people that are in distress. So being a nursing student at Lewis is a pretty dynamic experience. You start off freshman year with anatomy classes and a couple of general education classes, so you don't have a whole lot of responsibility as a nursing student per se until you get up into your sophomore and junior level. Throughout there, you start taking nursing classes and you get more responsibility, you get assigned a patient, so you start really getting to know hands-on. You don't have quite as many responsibilities as a freshman, but now that I'm a junior, there's a lot more. So you can still socialize, go to the courtyard, go to Charlie's, have dinner with friends, and have fun on the weekends, but also you have to make nursing your priority. So it's kind of finding a balance. Well, for me, I manage my time effectively by making sure I have all my due dates written out in my calendars and making sure that all my assignments are written out per each day, each week, so I know what to work on each week. I would say it's one of the hardest majors. I wouldn't say it's the hardest, but it is one that requires a lot of responsibility because you are having people's lives in your hands and you have to be able to make quick decisions on your feet and really apply the knowledge that you learn in class into a clinical experience. So as a nursing student, it is difficult to manage all your time effectively. There's a lot of stress involved and it is a struggle most days. However, the way that I avoid getting discouraged is thinking about this book that I read a couple months ago. It's inspired me to be more grateful for all the different things that are available here at Lewis, like the new nursing building and all the professors and all of the really nice equipment that we have. Because in the book, 3 Cups of Tea, there was a climber who climbed a mountain and failed, and he came across a poor town over in the Middle East. And there were children that have to sit on the ground and draw with sticks to do their math problems or to learn. So I just think of all the great things that Lewis has for us, and I just feel more grateful because of it. In my lab, I had to do simulations where you pretend that the dummy or the mannequin is a real person. And it's really hard to talk to a plastic person with a fake voice behind a screen or behind a curtain. So you have to put yourself in this mode of, okay, I'm pretending this is a real patient, but it's not, but I have to make sure that I'm acting the way I would towards a real person. And it is kind of weird because it's like an acting role that you have to use. Clinical days involve getting up usually around 4 a.m. and you drive probably about an hour to the hospital. And once you get there, you get assigned your patient from your instructor. And from there, you go on the computer, you learn about your patient, and you learn about the medications that they're on. Then you receive a report from your nurse. And from there, you learn about what happened overnight with your patient, what to expect, things like that. And then you go ahead and you meet your patient, take their vital signs, learn about their story, and learn about different things that you're going to have to do to take care of them throughout the day. The most rewarding part about being a nursing student is knowing that I'm learning all of these different skills and things in my lecture, but then I can also apply them and actually have hands-on and help a real person and know that I'm making a difference in their life. An important life lesson that I've learned throughout nursing and throughout my life too that applies to nursing is I have 2 older brothers and they often get on my nerves and they're hard to deal with, and that can transfer over to taking care of a patient. That might be a little bit more frustrating, but you still have to care about them and you have to give them compassion and forgive them because it's not their fault that they're sick or it's not their fault that they're upsetting you. So you have to put aside those emotions and learn how to truly care for someone even though if they're not quite as compatible with you. Compassion can be either learned or an instinct. At Lewis, you learn how to take care of a patient, but compassion has to be more of an instinct because it's something that comes from within. It's not just performing a skill or helping them walk in the hallway. It's something more of a humanitarian effort. So you're going to be more emotional towards that and more compassionate from within, I think. So from my grandpa's illness and my dad's illness a couple years ago, when I see patients that remind me of my family members, it drives the compassion behind taking care of someone. Because if your family member was in the hospital, you'd want someone taking the best care of them possible. So I always think, well, these people have family members too. These are patients, so they deserve the best care possible. So when it comes to a patient that reminds me of a family member, what I try to do is take the emotion and the compassion that drives me to be very kind and caring towards the patient into a more clinical approach. So I take all the actions of giving medications or providing a bath or making sure they have the proper hygiene. Those are basic things that people need, but I also take it to providing more gentle care, a gentle approach, something that'll really make the person feel like they're cared about instead of a sterile, well, here's your things, go ahead and wash yourself or something like that. It's more of a personal approach. Some nursing students have the question whether, is nursing school for me? Am I meant to be a nurse? What's going on? And I would say that once you get into clinicals and you have the experience with the hands-on with a patient, it really shows you that if you're into nursing, you can take care of a patient, you can feel the compassion, you know that it's something you want to do, whereas, if you don't feel comfortable with that situation, it's something that's not interesting for you. So one of the ways that I recognize that nursing is right for me is after I take care of a patient and they say, wow, you're going to be a really great nurse, or wow, that was a really good assessment, something like that. Or afterwards and you think, oh, there's no way I would have ever received this kind of care. I never get this kind of attention without you nursing students. It's the feedback that you get from the patient that really makes it worthwhile, knowing that you made a difference and they tell you that. It's something special. As a nursing student at Lewis, I feel like I'll be able to make a really big difference because there are so many different ways that the professors prepare us to know not to make mistakes, how to communicate with the patients, how to convey a sense of compassion for all the different families that we come across. So knowing that Lewis prepares you with all the knowledge and then teaches you the different ways to communicate, I feel like I'll be very prepared to make a difference in someone's life. Outside of nursing school, I like to go rock climbing and run and exercise. I also play multiple instruments, so I try to keep my life well-rounded and exciting. I shadowed my aunt out in Colorado a couple months ago. She works at a nursing home, and I was able to see all sorts of different people in the way that care is given in a different state. So that was interesting to see that, the compassion and care also up in the mountains can be the same as down here. So I'll be able to transfer what I learned at Lewis to different parts around the world. So throughout nursing school, one of the most valuable life lessons that I've learned is to not give up, because even though it becomes really stressful and you don't know where to go and people, there's so many different experiences that you're going to have and it's very overwhelming. I've had family members and friends that are there to help me just to keep going and not give up, because it is a lot of tough stuff that happens and it takes a lot of determination to keep going. So throughout clinical, a lot of times there are nurses that come up to us and say, oh, you're a Lewis student and you know what you're talking about. Because there was one instance a couple weeks ago that a nurse came up from a different floor and she was like, oh, all Lewis nursing students become nurses. And it kind of gives you a sense of pride in knowing that your professors really prepare you and that you do know what you're talking about. So Lewis so far has given me the life lesson that there are people out there that will help you. There's always someone there to help you, and it's okay to rely on other people. I have goals to become a flight nurse, so I'd like to work on helicopters and do medevac type things. So I'm going to have to go through a lot more school, but I can definitely see myself traveling the world, being a nurse, making a difference all throughout the world. Thank you for listening to me here on Lewis Spotlight, and I hope you learned something from my life lessons.